Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, welcome back to SJMMA. It's bloody good to be back, and today I'm talking about quite an important topic in my opinion, so strap yourselves in, grab yourself a cup of cocoa if that's your cup of tea. See what I did there? Let's crack on. The UFC Fight Night main event throughout the time of the promotion has been such an important tool. I mean, you think about Darren Till against Wonderboy in Liverpool, you think about McGregor and Brandao in Dublin. It was used as a way to really promote up and coming, rising and existing talent, but recently it's been misused, to say the least. We're not really a greedy or a delusional fan base. We understand that a UFC Fight Night is never going to be as overly stacked as a pay-per-view, but every single main event of a UFC card should make you think, wow, what a fight. And the likes of Rosenstrike versus Gaziev and that kind of fight that has been regularly on main events should not be happening in this promotion. So with that in mind, I thought I would hand you 5 realistic, entertaining, exciting and main event worthy fights of a UFC card. Now, there has to be a level of, like I say, realism. As much as I'd love to see Dan Hooker Justin Gaethje after what Hooker did at 305, Gaethje's never not going to be on pay-per-view. Same with someone like Charles Oliveira or Volkanovski. Those kind of people, maybe in 5-round non-title fights, but they'll always be on pay-per-view. So it's going to be realistic, but these are what main event fights should be, in my opinion. And all of them could be made right now. So let's get into the first one. This one's just basic matchmaking. They both got impressive wins on the same night. They both need another win before they can really earn a title shot, in my opinion. Umar Nurmagomedov against Deiveson Figueiredo. After their wins, they both did call for a title shot, which is not particularly surprising. If you're in the top 5 and you get a win and you get on the mic, you call for a title shot. But Figueiredo's wins at bantamweight, as much as Rob Font and Marlon Vera are good wins, he probably does need one more. And Sandhagen was Umar's first ranked win. I know it was a great win. He was ranked number 2 or number 3, I think. It's a superb win, but he needs another one for me. There's a relatively present degree of star power there. I mean, Umar's obviously got the support of the Khabib and the Dagestani fan base. And I suppose for a flyweight, Figueiredo was always quite dynamic and popular. So there's a level of star power, but the most important thing is a bona fide title eliminator. O'Malley and Merab at the Sphere, the winner fights the winner of this fight. You put that on Fight Night main event, maybe in front of a crowd, maybe in the Apex, whatever you want to do, in November, December, maybe January, and then next summer it's O'Malley or Merab against Umar or Deiveson for the bantamweight title. It really is as simple as that, beautiful people. It really is. Next one, in my opinion, another completely bona fide title eliminator with a lot more star power. Jack Della Maddalena against Ian Garry. The way things are looking, I would expect Shavkat Rakhmonov to be Belal Muhammad's first title defence. He could rematch Leon Edwards. Leon, I think, has made rumblings over the past year, 18 months about going up to middleweight. I think he could possibly do that. And Kamaru Usman, he's got no knees. He's nearly 40. He's not won a fight in a bloody long time. He needs to shut up, talk to Henry Cejudo a little bit more, and just, get out of the title picture until you win a fight, my friend. So, Ian and Jack Della Maddalena. But, where it gets interesting, the UFC have been trying to get a fight card in Ireland for a long period of time. And as much as there has been sort of rumblings, maybe even half rumours about the idea of a McGregor fight at the 3 Arena in Dublin, Ireland, it won't happen. McGregor has to fight in Las Vegas or New York, or the UFC will not break even with the amount of money they pay for him. It's quite straightforward, but if you do a Fight Night main event with Ian Garry against a person in Jack Della Maddalena who is going to bring the best out of him, you would expect Ian likes to counter-strike and Jack comes forward. It's fireworks on paper, isn't it? Also, at least from the outside, JDM does not look like a bloke who would mind going into Ian's hometown. I think he would be completely unfazed. I mean, if he can withstand that dodgy nose on his face for his entire adult life, I think he'll be fine going to Ireland to fight Ian Garry. So, that's what I think you should do. So, let Shavkat fight Belal Muhammad. Let Usman either retire or fight a big name at 170 or 185 pounds. Leon can have sort of a delayed break, I guess. Maybe come back against the winner of Sean Brady or Gilbert Burns, could be a decent one. And have these two fight in the main event of a UFC fight in Dublin, Ireland. That's what I would do. Number 3 on the list, the perfect UFC Apex main event, Arnold Allen versus Yair Rodriguez. I've already spoken about the Apex at great length in previous videos, but it's not the arena itself that's the problem. It's the way it's been utilised by the UFC that has then created that stigma in our heads surrounding it. But I definitely believe that in moderation, and that's a big phrase, maybe one a month, maybe less than that, the Apex is a good change of pace. And I think a main event like Arnold Allen against Yair Rodriguez is the perfect way to get people excited about an Apex Fight Night, if that makes sense. Even if the rest of the card is a little bit weaker than your average fight night, fine. You need names on the marquee, and these two, in an Apex situation, are superstars compared to what we normally get at the Apex at least. Obviously, Almighty lost a couple and has then rebounded against Shikadze recently. He did pick up a bit of an injury there. We've not seen Yair for a little bit of time. He's not exactly in the win column in the form book very much at the minute. He's lost, I think, 2 or 3 in a row. It's one of those where the winner stays relevant in the title picture. A lot of the time you match up those on a loss downwards, and that is exactly how it should be done. But there are situations where you have 2 people who have not been winning that much recently, who are both in high spots. You kind of eliminate one or the other. This is a really, really good opportunity to do that. And it's a great fight as well. It's one of those that you can get excited for on a Saturday night at 10 here in the UK, even though it's not got thousands of people and loads of title fights on the line. If you see those 2 names, you think, okay, this is going to be fun. At least that one fight is going to be fun. And that brings in more eyeballs. Because some of the Apex cards are actually really good, but nobody watches them because we've got 2 fat useless heavyweights in the main event. So, Alan against Yair is a perfect Apex main event. I think the middleweight weight class is definitely on the up. It has been in terms of sort of notoriety and star power for a while, so I wanted the middleweight fight in here. And for me, in terms of a fight night main event that garners interest, you do Paulo Costa against the loser of this weekend's main event, Jared Cannonier and Cal Barajo. For all his inactivity, all of his shenanigans, and the fact he's kind of not been relevant for a while in the title picture because he never fights and he loses quite a bit, Paulo Costa has got a lot of value to the company. He's very popular, a lot of people love him, and his style is good if you give him the right person in front of him. And I think either Cannonier or Barajo are both good fights. This is another one that you could definitely slip on an Apex card, whether it's Jared or Cal, and think that is a good fight. But if you look at Jared Cannonier, he's headlined crowded fight nights both this time and against Imavov last time. And Cannonier Costa can sell out 3, 4, 5,000 seats quite easily. In Brazil, in the US, in Canada, anywhere really. But a fight like Cal Barajo, 2 Brazilians, 2 exciting Brazilians, main event of a fight night in Brazil with somebody like a Joe Anderson Brito high up the card, you can build a really great card in Brazil around those 2. So whether it's Cannonier or Barajo, they'd both be perfect fight night main events for Paulo Costa. And finally, I'm going to go with Jamal Hill against Volkan Oezdemir. Now, this is the kind of fight that on a pay-per-view, it would be kind of 4th from the top, maybe a main card opener on a really stacked one. It would be exciting, people would want to see it, but it would almost lose its shine a bit. If you put this on a marquee, and we get the 5 rounds, or probably less than 5 rounds of action that you'd expect, it could really boost the star of Jamal Hill. Yes, he's already been a champion, but especially Oezdemir, who's kind of, even though he's been good recently, ever since his loss against Daniel Cormier, he's kind of fell out of the limelight. A main event win over Jamal Hill puts him straight back up there. One thing I think the UFC need to do more is host events more around the continent of Europe. I know they've been going to the UK and Brazil and the Middle East and a bit of Singapore as well. Quite recently, they're going to Macau again, but you think about all the high-level European talent towards the top of divisions. Like, just think about the likes of Oezdemir, Vettori, Gamrot, Fiziev, Ian Gary, like I mentioned earlier, Jan Blachowicz, so many others as well. You could go to Switzerland, you could go to Poland, Germany. I know they go to France quite a bit, but Italy, you know, all over the continent. Oezdemir is one of those guys that can bring you into new places because of his nationality. Jamal Hill, would he go to Switzerland or Poland? Maybe not, but even if they don't, that's just a bit of a side note that I think the UFC need to address. But either way, as a main event, this makes a lot of sense. Jamal Hill, former UFC champion. There's been some controversy around Roundtree getting the title shot after his issues with PEDs. Not going to get into that now, that's not the point of this video, but the fact of the matter is, Jamal Hill's been doing a lot of moaning online recently, and if he can get a main event spotlight victory over a streaking Volkan Oezdemir by a vicious knockout, he's back in the title picture. And like I mentioned earlier, for Oezdemir, if he can do the same, he could be on his way to a second title shot, 6 years after the first? So yeah, this is a very interesting one. I think that'll just about wrap up my first video back, beautiful people. I hope you enjoyed. It's good to be back. And if you have any thoughts on the fights that I've said in this video, do let me know. If you have any other fights that you would love to see over 5 rounds in a main event, then do not hesitate. Let me know down below and we'll have a little chinwag about them. But with all that being said, I'll catch you very soon. Take care.